But first, let's be honest, there's an emotion that many of us don't talk about, but all of us feel at one time or another in different intensities. Worry, concern. And today we've got more information about the types of things that are worrying Australians and the number of Australians that are worried about cost of living. I talk about this every night on the show because it is the number one concern of households all over the country. The reality is you were sold a pup by this government that said things would get better, but the reality is, as you know, everything's got worse. Well, today, via the Turnbull Times, the left-wing Guardian website, more than half of Australian families report higher than normal distress due to the cost of living. Now, as we told you last night, we are in a per capita recession, which means those of us in the real world, not the overall economy that gets to rely upon the resources sector, well, we are going backwards. We have been going backwards now for 5 successive quarters, so that is a full 12 months plus another 3. For 15 months, we have been hurting, even longer. And of course, all of that is the period of time since this government came to power. Good at politics, good at BS, lots of cover from the media, but the reality is yet again on show today via this survey. Let me read you a part of it now. A community tracker has found that the cost of living and personal debt is now the highest cause of distress among Australians for the 5th quarter in a row. So surprise, surprise, what you feel matches up with the economic reality of the data that we've been talking about how now, for 5 quarters, 15 months, the entirety of the time that Albo's been Prime Minister, you have been worried about cost of living. 46% of people believe that they have elevated stress, or know that they have elevated stress, should say in September. This is compared to 40% a couple of months ago. For families with children at home under the age of 18 years, their concern is now at 56%. That is now more than half, and it is up by 20% since June. Yet the idiot Grim Jim and the Prime Minister in between flying around the rest of the world tells us everything's good. It represents the first time since the organisation started surveying Australians 4 years ago that more than half of families reported cost of living distress beyond normal levels. The tracker also found that families were twice as likely to call a frontline suicide prevention service, 14%, than the rest of the population, which is 7%. Now again, it may feel repetitive that we constantly talk about this issue, but we talk about it because every night there is information that we need to tell to those that are watching us in Canberra, to tell them that we know that the rest of the country is actually hurting. And while managing the politics is what most people in Canberra do, and most people who talk about the politics are fine because their jobs are okay, they may have got a pay rise. If they're politicians, they've got the highest pay rise in 10 years in this month. And if you're a bureaucrat, you're also getting the highest pay rise in 10 years. For everyone else, you are feeling the pinch. And the pinch is becoming the punch at every single first of the month, dare I say. It is hurting. And people need genuine relief. Now, the government says, we're doing something about cost of living because we point to this policy for people with primary school age kids, or we point to this policy for people who are on a fixed income. But there are literally millions of Australians who are completely on their own, with this government that has now seen so many interest rate rises that it is $14,000 more expensive to pay your house off this year than it was last year. The disgraceful decision to take $1,500 away from 10 million workers means that there are 10 million people who don't have the $1,500 to pay for many of the things that they rely upon with the automatic tax return that this government decided to get rid of. Now, again, you remember the noise that we made going into the budget, the noise that we made out of the budget. And while it was a bipartisan decision going into the last election, if I had had any greater access to government, I would have screamed the house down and tried to do everything I can to reverse the decision. But this mob think that they're so damn clever that they don't need to worry about the very people who they said life was going to get better for.